Thank you for joining Wars of the Rosies. And this is The Coming Revolution by the Imperator AMORC, an article from Rosicrucian Digest, Volume 11, Number 2, March 1933. The Thought of the Month, The Coming Revolution by the Imperator AMORC. It is strange how we always think of a revolution as something that starts suddenly, revolves fastly, and causes more destruction than construction. Perhaps this is because most of the popular revolutions in the past have been of that nature. We do not think of evolution as being rapid and destructive, and certainly a revolution should not be any different than a phase of evolution. The wheel of an automobile revolves, and it may revolve slowly or rapidly, and yet its revolving does not necessarily bring destruction or injury to anything. The earth is revolving, and we certainly can speak of the revolutions of the earth as something good and peaceful. Science has passed through revolutions as well as evolutions, and so has art and music and many phases of civilization. But there is another revolution coming that is different from all of the ones we have had in the past, and will be constructive as well as partially destructive, inasmuch as it will eliminate many of the various things in life, as well as create many new and beautiful things. Much is being said these days about technocracy, and the revolution that I am speaking about will be related to many of the principles and ideas now being associated with technocracy. Technocracy in its fundamentals is not new. The word itself is new, and the man who invented the word admits that he did so because he thought a new and peculiar word would arouse interest, and that is exactly what it has done. Seldom has any other invented word attracted so much attention as has the word technocracy. It has caused thousands of persons to read and think about its meaning and the principles back of it, who would never have been attracted by some other term if the technocrats had used the words economic evolution or economic change or the evils of economics instead of the word technocracy. Their arguments and postulations would not have had the widespread appeal. Undoubtedly, many of the fundamental claims put forward under technocracy are correct, and Rosicrucians throughout the world will agree with these fundamental principles. But many of the ideas built upon these principles are not correct. Rosicrucians have understood for many centuries that one of the evils of the present form of civilization is the arbitrary establishment of money in the form of paper and coin to be used as a means of reward for labor, services, and mental efficiency. In this very magazine and in other publications, other writers than I have spoken of this evil money, and within the past 3 or 4 years, I have said a number of times that one of the biggest problems that faces the future is the doing away with the present monetary system. So there is nothing new in that part of technocracy. Likewise, we can all agree that the rapid development of machinery has enabled certain individuals to easily control many features of the present economic and monetary systems. We cannot say that machinery itself is responsible for these conditions, but the existence of machinery has enabled the wicked men of the world to do things that they could not have done otherwise. Certainly we would be wrong in calling natural gas or artificial gas a dangerous thing, and condemn it and forbid anyone to make it or use it just because some persons have used it to commit suicide and others have used it for criminal purposes. Gas can be used constructively as well as destructively. Therefore, it is neither an evil nor a good thing, except in accordance with the manner in which it is used. The machine is in the same position. Machinery could be used today to solve many of our economic problems instead of increasing them. Machinery has aided civilization in the past and has helped every man and woman to live more happily and more properly, and it can be made to help in the same way again in the future. The great problem that faces the future is that of finding some way of rewarding man for his services. The use of money permits of too much crime and too much elasticity in the artificial evaluation of things. Money in and of itself should have no power, but today it has a power. And when this power is in the hands of the wrong person, it becomes dangerous. It is not in accordance with karmic law that man should be paid for his services and labor and devotion, by giving him something that is wholly artificial and which he can use to injure others or to injure the very source from which the reward issues. Think of those who have not labored at all, but who are living on the artificial reward accumulated by their parents or forebears. And now, with the unearned and undeserving power in their hands, they may use it to live a life of idleness while others who are working and laboring do without the proper rewards. Or they can use it to destroy friend and enemy. The Rosicrucians have long advocated that some other means of reward must be found. If I may venture to make a suggestion that has been in the mind of the Rosicrucians for many centuries, it is this: a certificate based upon units of service should be substituted in the place of money as a basis for the system of measuring service. The service of the farmer might be taken as the standard. One day's service of the farmer or agriculturalist could properly be called a basic service, since the farmer's service represents the very strength and power of man's life on earth. Taking the farmer's average day and making it the standard unit, some form or script could be used whereby the services of every human being could be properly rewarded. The professional man, such as the doctor, who renders unusual service and benefit to the community, might receive in one day script equal to 3 units of service, or equal to 3 times the value of the service of the farmer. The clerk in the store might receive for each day's labor a unit and a half of this script. Younger people, or those in less important services, might receive for their daily pay script equaling half the unit or equal to half the service rendered by the farmer in one day. All of these scripts, representing various units of fundamental service, could be cashed at stores or exchanged for food and necessities, and even small fractions of a single unit may be used for exchange purposes. This script could neither be given away nor banked nor stored up, preserved, or saved for the future, for it could only be exchanged for necessities and for service, and would have to be used by the person to whom it was issued. In this way, all of us would receive the necessities of life and even the luxuries in exchange for the service we rendered during the day or night. Those of us who wanted to labor in a productive capacity could go to work knowing that there would be sufficient script to pay us adequately, and that no bank failures, no wars, and no fluctuations of stock markets or gold standards could affect the script we had received. The technocrats suggest an energy unit for the basis of our script, but this would never prove to be satisfactory. A service unit is the only standard that could be made universal. Even the housewife would receive such a script as was indicated by the services she rendered in her home. Such a plan would bring about universal employment and universal prosperity, and many other improvements, such as the elimination of bank failures, the impossibility of false investments, and artificial inflation of values and securities, and similar things. Such a revolution in our economic system is sure to come about. This is the revolution I referred to, and anyone can plainly see that it is not going to happen suddenly, and it will not upset our conditions overnight, nor will the plans of the technocracy, even if they were, reduced to feasibility. Certain it is, something must be done along the lines suggested by the technocrats, and our only concern is to watch out that we do not allow communism and Bolshevism to enter into the matter. Whether or not England and France and other countries will make the changes that may gradually come about in the United States, it is difficult to say. One thing is certain, however, and that is the countries of North America are safe, stable, and sane in their character. The last thing in the world that anyone should question is the integrity of these new world countries. Nothing is to be gained by criticizing the political or governmental powers that are always working in these North American countries to maintain peace and prosperity against the odds of a minority that represents the restless and the radicals. One radical can do more to upset the balance of a nation or of a community, province, or state than 1,000 persons can undo through legislature or through any other form of united activity. The radicals are always seeking an opportunity to promote their destructive ideas and take advantage of every degree of restlessness to arouse the flame of destructive fire. The countries of North America are not going to the dogs, nor are we heading straight towards bankruptcy, failure, and civil or international war. We are now in the very process of reestablishing our economic integrity, and each move must be made sanely and carefully, and I, for one, believe in leaving the matters in the hands of our officials who are, after all, guided by higher powers who are protecting these countries and seeing to it that justice is done. The alcoves of March. As stated in previous issues, the mystics assign certain vocations, activities, and accomplishments to each month of the year, and they gradually associated with these months certain characters who are outstanding examples of these vocations and attainments, regardless of the month in which they were born. March is considered one of the 12 monthly alcoves devoted to science. Those who are interested in scientific matters will find this month tending to awaken and increase their interest in such subjects, and you may know the nature of the month by the fact that the ancient and modern mystics associated the month with such persons as Copernicus and Humboldt, especially, and such others as Euclid, Tycho Brahe, Newton, Herschel, Laplace, Kepler, Bolton, Ampere, Harvey, Helmholtz, Lyell, Darwin, Sir Oliver Lodge, Huxley, Jenner, Koch, and Blackstone. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment. And if you can, please consider donating to Wars of the Rosies. Links to PayPal and Patreon are in the description. Thank you so very much.